Okay, hi Skye.
Hey. Hi, Matt.
You just finished St. George. How did you feel going into the race?
Um, Leading into the race, I felt pretty good in training and things. We're ultimately training for Ironman Tulsa, full Ironman. So training's been pretty heavy. I was quite fatigued going into St. George, and we certainly didn't take, a full taper for that. So I knew I maybe wouldn't feel super fresh going into the race, but overall felt good. Didn't sleep great in St. George, I'll be honest, leading into the race, but I kind of let go of any feelings I have or, any emotions leading into the race that maybe would distract from me giving my best. So
Coming off of Galveston a number of weeks ago, you raced some of the same field, but there were some new names racing a lot more stacked in St. George. How did the race go?
yeah, I knew the race was going to be super intense. I said that on Instagram. It was just as intense as I thought it would be. For me personally, I swam with a pretty good pack, so that was nice. Honestly, on the swim, it felt a little less intense than I was expecting, so I was kind of worried about whether I was with the right pack. I knew I was with a bunch of women, though. Every time I was sighting, I saw several caps, several arms flying. So, but getting out of the water, I heard they were calling names, who was ahead of me. So I knew I was in a pretty good position there. And then straight away, I just, got through transition as quickly as possible and got to work on the bike. I didn't really want to wait around to see who was going to go hard at the beginning and try to close some gaps. I just, went straight for it. And, quite quickly I could see Holly Lawrence, her red suit up ahead. There were also quite a few male pros, with a field as big as the male pro field had. When you're at the front or towards the front of the women's race, you're going to overlap with a lot of the guys who are at the back of the pro field. So I could see a lot of people ahead of me, which was good. It's good to be chasing someone. It's nice to have goals of like, okay, get to them. So yeah, Holly Lawrence was one for me. It took me quite a while to actually catch her.
Nice job, ladies.
Well, catch and
45
stay with her.
seconds off Emma in third.
Yeah, once I caught her, Jeannie Seymour or Jeannie Metzler was right with her as well, and the three of us, along with a male pro or two, kind of, yo-yoed and worked together a bit. Felt pretty good. It was definitely hard to drop anyone. Just with all the ups and downhills, some people were really good at the downhills, some people were really good at the uphills, and it was never just like, oh, go ahead. And then when we got to Snow Canyon, I knew for me, I wanted to push that really hard. I love climbing hard. So once we got to Snow Canyon, I just kind of let it rip and go as hard as I could. I was breathing super heavy, pushing really hard. And I did put some time into Jeannie and Holly there. And I had, carrots. I could see Paula Finley and even Emma Pallant up ahead. So I caught Paula on the descent back into town. I pushed quite hard and rode really fast. I feel quite safe on that descent. So I caught Paula and just kept pushing hard. I knew I would need any gap I could get on the run with the women behind me. I knew there were a lot of good women even further back, and you just never know what you're going to feel like on the run and what they're going to feel like on the run. So I think I came in third off the bike.
Skye, you're 1 minute off Emma in second.
I think I had the third fastest bike split and got out on the run. The beginning of the run is brutal in St. George. It's like 3 miles straight uphill. And it starts gradual uphill, but then it's like just gut punch, super steep uphill. So I knew that was not going to feel nice, and I knew my heart rate was going to feel very high. But once I got through that, kind of found my rhythm more. Jeannie passed me quite early on. Obviously riding with Jeannie as long as I did wasn't ideal, but she was riding really, really well. and knowing her run form, I knew I was probably going to lose a spot, but you never know. So I rode and did what I could. But yeah, she passed me right away, and then I was just working on holding strong. And I knew Paula and Holly were behind me, but I didn't know where they were. I didn't have an opportunity to see where other people were until about mile 6 or so. There's a turnaround, and coming up on that turnaround, literally in my head, I was like, okay, don't freak out. You're gonna see how close people are now, or far away. Just don't freak out, and stay strong and believe in your run. So yeah, I saw that Paul and Holly were not that far off, but anything's possible. So then, I made it, I stayed in my position, then we got to the next turnaround, out and back, and they were a little closer, but I just focused on going hard. I really wanted to finish well, and we got to some of the last really steep, more gut punching hills, and my legs were definitely feeling it on those hills. Holly passed me. I tried to stay with her for a while. Then Paula passed, and we were all pretty bunched up going up the last really big hill, which is right around like mile 9. But I knew it wasn't over. I knew if I could just get up that hill that I would be able to just really push myself on the downhill. So, Paula got ahead of both Holly and I, and then I felt like I could get Holly. I don't know if she thought I wasn't coming, or she'd safely pass me. Usually when you pass, you don't pass again. A lot of passes are often final in racing, but that's what makes it fun, is when it's so close that you can go back and forth. So yeah, I really focused on getting to Holly, and Paula wasn't too far up, but I think she was moving quite a bit quicker. And yeah, I would say maybe over mile 11, I caught Holly again, and I just ran for my life, because first I didn't know if anyone else was coming, and I didn't know if Holly was gonna, dig deeper and pass me back. Anyway, then I just focused on trying to get Paula, and came up short. I think I finished 16 seconds after her.
Yeah, and it was quite the battle. You all finished in the 4:14 minute.
Yeah.
Paula was 4:14:07, you were 4:14:24, and Holly was 4:14:48. So it was quite the battle, even to the very end. Exciting to watch.
Yeah, we don't have like Talbot Cox footage of that battle, but it was a battle. It's probably the most battle-like run I've been a part of.
Yeah. Thoughts about Jeannie, who you had just raced in Galveston. You put a lot of time into her in the bike in Galveston and throughout the race. Obviously, she's a great runner, and she was looking like she may catch you, but you held her off at Galveston. She sort of, do you feel like that went differently this time, or any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't know what was different for Jeannie on the bike this time, whether it was like a mental thing or confidence or like a course thing, but yeah, Jeannie rode really well. So kudos to her, and then she ran really well off it. So yeah, she's an amazing athlete, and I couldn't drop her on the bike. So yeah, she came in 4:10. Do you like racing St. George? We talked a little bit about this in your last video. Now that the race is concluded, what are your thoughts about racing there? Yeah, I really like racing in St. George. I get so many cheers on course because so many local people from Salt Lake City go down there to race. So, and I love the challenge of the course, flat races are fun. They're hard too, but it's just fun to mix it up, like slow up a hill, fast on a descent. It's more than just power. There's some bike handling. There's some confidence on the bike. I don't know. I really like St. George. Yeah, I'm excited that Worlds will be there this year, 70.3 Worlds. And for me, it's so easy and close to get to. It's not like a stressful race. Doesn't take a lot out of me to travel there, so.
And you mentioned some of the challenges. I wonder, are there specific challenges maybe for the swim or the bike or the run? So the swim is in Sand Hollow Reservoir there, and I know some athletes and folks have mentioned, getting in the water, which is notably cold and can sometimes, be a little bit of a shock to the system. Do you find that a challenge, or and then as a follow-on to that, maybe the bike course riding up into Snow Canyon, or any challenges around the run, and any of the pieces in particular?
Yeah, the swim's an interesting point. It seems like every single year there's a few girls who have challenges like breathing or whatever on the swim. Even I've had years where, you put your head down, you go from 0 to however fast in 2 seconds, and it kind of takes your breath away. This year, I will say, compared to other years, I did not find as cold, which was I was really relieved with. I don't like being cold, and I don't like my face being cold. So I didn't experience anything like that this year, but that's certainly a challenge for some people. So I don't know if it's the cold water, the altitude. I will say in September that water will be a lot warmer because it's going to warm up all summer. So it'll be a different story in September. And then the bike for me, I love it. Snow Canyon's only like a 16-minute climb. I do 90-minute climbs here at home. So to me, I'm not saying it's not a challenging bike course. It is, but to me, it's like a dream, to have some climbing. I just love going hard on the climbs. So we talk about Snow Canyon like it's just this insane climb, and it, you can obviously, you could make or break your placement there, but I don't know, there's harder climbs out there. And then honestly, the run is what makes it so tough for me personally. The uphills are just killer. They're quite steep. I really like the downhills, but I like the uphill too. It's just, you're not going super fast up those hills, and that really, it's the burning in your quads and your heart rate just going up on those uphills that make it difficult.
What takeaways do you have from St. George? What did you learn?
Yeah, so we're 4 days after the race now. I think one takeaway is that I am fit. I did that race pretty fatigued, and I am pretty happy with how it went. And I actually pushed more power. My normalized power was higher at St. George than Texas. So that was good. But I think maybe my takeaway was, kind of figuring out how to get energy from the battle part of it. I saw Lionel Sanders in drug testing after the race, and he asked how it went, and I told him, I got 5th, and it was good though, on the run I got passed, and then I passed back, and he was like, so you had a good battle. And I said, yeah. And I just, he just lives for that battle. And then I watched some post-race coverage, and the battle that he and Sam had, I just thought, man, they really, really just drew the energy out of themselves to get the best out of themselves. So I think for me, having some battle on the run, and then, watching the men's battle, the takeaway for me is next time I'm in that situation, just dig even deeper and really figure out a way to kind of draw energy from the situation and from, my competitors who I'm in battle with. So I think that's a bit of an art form that I haven't had a lot of practice with. So that's my takeaway.
Thoughts on Ironman? We're coming out of this pandemic, races are starting to happen. Thoughts on how they've navigated that? And as a side note to that, I know you've had some time to review the live coverage. Any comments on any of that?
Yeah, so I know Ironman has been on the receiving end of a lot of angry customers and a lot of hate, and for good reason. They maybe haven't handled it with the best way they could have, with refunds or whatever. I understand the frustration, but I understand the business side of it as well. So I think coming out and having races, first of all, they're doing everything they can to make races happen. And my experience is, they're doing it quite safely. I mean, for having thousands of people on course, I personally don't feel unsafe, and we're outside, which is a safe environment. So yeah, I think Ironman's doing a good job, and I'm really pleased that they're, doing whatever it takes to make sure we can race. And I think, with the live coverage, I think we need to give Ironman a little bit of credit here. Like, they've really, I don't know if I've heard anything positive about Ironman in a year, but I think with the live coverage, first of all, I think they did a great job. I feel like the coverage was maybe even better or more robust than past years or past race coverages, especially for being a 70.3. So that was cool. And then I think as well, one thing to point out, the prize purse for this race, like last time I checked, was $75,000. And then everything that was being published before the race was saying it was $100,000. And I thought, wait, I thought this was 75. So somewhere along the line, Ironman upped the prize purse just a little bit. And, that's nothing compared to, say what the PTO has been contributing financially to the pros. But I feel like Ironman is putting forth some effort and deserves some credit there. Maybe they're working on that. I mean, I haven't spoken to anyone at Ironman, but yeah, my experience with St. George and racing as a pro so far this year is, I think, and I hope they're trying. So we'll see.
Tulsa is next. Thoughts around that, leading into that?
Yeah, I'm excited for Tulsa. Like I said, that's ultimately what I've been training for the last couple months. And it's looking to be another incredible field, another opportunity to race Daniela and see if I could even be in her zip code at all for any part of the race. So, she's obviously in really good form, and there's a lot of other women there who are going to come in hot. Looks like Heather Jackson's been training really hard. I know she's been working to get that sub-3 marathon. I've also been working to get that sub-3 marathon, so it'll be fun. Yeah, a lot of really, really capable women who are going to be there, and I think they're doing live coverage again, so.
Should be a great race. Okay, so last question. I know you had you had a day off yesterday, spent some time recovering, and I know, particularly because I live with you, you spent some time looking for a hammock. How much of the house did you turn over in search for that hammock? Did you ultimately find it? Where was it?
Okay.
Tell us about that.
So I have this hammock, and I love sitting in my backyard between these two trees, looking up into the trees. I love being outside when the weather's nice. So yesterday was nice, and I wanted to go spend time in my hammock. But of course it's been put away since probably September or October. And I put it in a really special place that I couldn't remember. I searched everywhere. Like, I searched the garage twice. I made Matt come search the garage with me probably twice. I searched the front closet. I searched my bedroom, we share a bedroom, but I have my room with like all my gear. So I searched there, and then finally I'm like, okay, the only place left is under the stairs in the basement. So then I went pulled everything out. I don't recommend this for a rest day, but I was so dedicated to getting my relaxing hammock session. So yeah, it was in a Rubbermaid under the stairs with all my winter clothes right where I left it, right where I put it, where I was like, oh, this is the perfect place at some point. I must have put it there last fall when we were renovating.
Yeah.
Anyway, I found it, and I enjoyed the hammock, and I plan to enjoy it again today and tomorrow and the next day. So the time and energy investment was worth it.
Yep. Cool. Hi.
Bye.